Emancipation is long overdue, so it becomes procrastination, cause freedom is within you. For some reason we think we're free, so we'll never be, because we haven't recognized slavery. You still a slave, look at how you behave, debating on where and when and how and what master gave.
Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Tyranny, a weekly show about authoritarianism, government overreach, and global injustice. This is episode 19. My name is Conrad Rogas. I am your host, and I'd like to remind you, as I always do, that if tyranny is not at your doorstep, that's because there's someone in the street keeping it at bay. So today is April 16th, episode 19 of This Week in Tyranny. We're going to blow right through it. We're not going to spend too much time. I've been doing a lot of other things. So we'll hit 3 quick bullet points, 3 topics about what is going on with tyranny now. It's not going to have anything to do with the leaked Pentagon documents. I've noticed that often the main story that you hear about in the news so much is not the most important one. The important ones here are flying under the radar. One of them is actually pretty funny to me. There's a robot dog in New York now that's part of the police force. He's a robotic, looks like a dog. He's a robot that is a cop. He's officially a cop. I don't know if he has the power to arrest, and I don't know what kind of weaponry he has, but he's part of the police force. A lot of people are battling back against this, saying that this is totalitarian and so forth, and it is. And it does speak to militarization of police. It does speak to an urban warfare scenario brewing in the streets of this nation. And that is true. I spoke a few episodes back about the Atlanta Cop City, okay, the training facility they're building there, and this is unmanned weaponry for urban warfare. You know how they have automatic vehicles, unmanned vehicles, predator drones. Now they have a robotic dog, which is a unmanned ground vehicle, and that's what it actually is. But one thing about this is actually funny and poetic is that really this robot dog that people are getting so upset about, and at first I get upset about it too. I'm like, damn, they really put the robot dog out. But when you think about it, all these police officers are just two-legged robot dogs anyway, and that is what it is. What is really the difference between your average police officer and a robot? They're going to carry out their orders or their programming. They're going to do it exactly as their training or their programming says. They will not do anything that's outside of the scope of their programming that their programmer instilled into them. So they are basically just a function of their training, and they just perform basic tasks just like this robot, except they have the right to arrest and they have the right to kill. And the only difference is that the human body is such a genius machine and a genius computer, the human mind, that our mechanized robotics have not reached that level yet. But the police are robot dogs already, and this is actually a cult mockery. They're mocking them, these cops, and on a surface level, on a different level, it does make sense. You know, they're gonna have the cop approach the door in hostage situations and so forth. It's sending out a drone instead of putting a person there in risky situations. So it makes sense. In the end, a robot dog isn't going to put me over the edge. I've been over the edge a long time ago, and the institution of policing needs to be done away with because they have no right to be doing what they are doing. And if there's anything we can use the cops for, it's to put them in front of the schools to prevent these school shootings. So, next story. Elon Musk caught a lot of fire because he labeled BBC and NPR state-sponsored media. He put it, as we know, Elon Musk took over Twitter. He runs Twitter now, and under their accounts, he put like an asterisk that states that they are state-sponsored media. The same way if you go to RT on YouTube, you know, Russia Today, their channel, YouTube will let you know this is basically Russian state television, you know, and it is. But now NPR took that very personally. They got upset, they got offended, and they boycotted Twitter now. So NPR is off of Twitter, and BBC got pretty upset about it too. So then Elon Musk had to relabel it. He changed it to public. Excuse me. He changed it to publicly funded. He changed it to publicly funded instead of state-sponsored or government-sponsored media. But really, that doesn't change anything. He just changed the label to be a more politically correct corporate label. He didn't back off of his claim. He didn't take back his claim, which is good because it is state-sponsored media. And what I actually didn't know, I researched about BBC, what the extent of their public funding is, because I actually didn't know this. I know the media is controlled and tied into the government and intelligence in a general sense. I know that, but as far as their actual money, I didn't know where it actually came from. And with BBC, the main television, the main news station in England, they're actually royal chartered. They have a royal charter. I didn't know this. I found out when I looked this story up. You guys won't believe this. In America, in England with BBC, you actually have to pay like a BBC tax. It's called a license fee. Every household that has a TV or a laptop or anything like that, you have to pay them a license fee to get BBC. But even if you don't want it, you don't have the option to opt out of it. You have to pay it. It's like part of the government. It's like government extortion. It's like a tax. It is just like taxation here. It is a payment it is a subscription payment that you cannot opt out of. The same way we have to pay for Medicare and so forth. But they actually have a royal charter, and they have the audacity to say that they're not government funded. They'd like to claim that they're independent, But they said they received private funding from the license fee, but they actually have, BBC actually has, like, there's an article about this. They actually have like an enforcement crew where you can get penalized and arrested, and there are even people in jail right now for not paying their license fee to get BBC. So I've been critical of Elon in the past, with the Twitter blue check mark and everything, but I gotta give him props for this. Great job, Elon. I'm liking what he's doing because he brought attention to this issue, and the one good thing he's doing. It's really it's one of the few good things Donald Trump did, is he brought attention to the fact that these media are liars and they're government funded. Now, what Elon has brought it to the attention that they're government funded. This is a great thing. The tyranny in that sense is coming to the forefront. So that's one front where a bit of work is being done. We've got to help them out. There are many, many more fronts, and this is a rare good story. What it usually sounds like is this next story, where Biden, with the EPA, has set new emissions limits, where the new cars that they're going to be producing, essentially the limits for emissions are so strict and so draconian that will basically make more than 50% of cars that are being produced now are going to be electric, because technically you don't have to make them electric, but you won't be able to pass these arbitrary regulations. And this is continuing war on carbon. This is tied into climate change and clean energy. When I won't talk about it too much, but this whole thing is a lie, because the reason there's such a war on carbon dioxide is because that is actually the current human paradigm of human activity. So they want to limit that and shut that down, so that we're dependent on the government for these new energies. It's not that they're cleaner. It's not that they care about the environment. They just care about having tighter control of human production. And that's what's happening. This is the new communism. This is what Stalin and Lenin failed at. And this is what they are now doing over in the Western world. They're actually, and ironically, it is happening while Russia's at war and everybody is upset with Russia, when really the Soviet system is coming here. This is just international socialism. This is global communism, and it's going to start with the limitations on carbon. And another story that happened, just a side note, they're making incandescent light bulbs basically illegal, that you have to get LED light bulbs. And it doesn't matter if they're actually better and cleaner and all this. The government is not supposed to, that they can't do this. This is immoral, that what they're doing. It is wrong what they're doing, because if something is really an outdated, obsolete technology, the people will stop using it and they will go to the better technology naturally. That's free market, right? That is what we claim to have in America, is free market. Nobody had to outlaw the Model T. It's just we had better cars, you know, we had better technology, and people will gravitate and start using the better technology. And this is just, they're playing the arbitrator in the free market and all these different things, just like they want to play God with science and medicine. And this is just, you know, another episode, another edition, another installment of the continuing advance of tyranny. And there will be another one next week. But the robot dog, it started out funny. The robot dog was hilarious. Then Elon Musk let him have it a little bit, and then the news stations got so upset and tried to claim they're independent somehow, and they did all this word magic to say that they're independent. But Elon Musk basically fact checked them a bit. He, just like when you talk about if you mention New World Order and you have the video on YouTube, under that they'll put that it's a conspiracy theory. They'll put a little asterisk on certain topics, and that's just what he did to them now. So it's nice that they're getting a taste of their own medicine, but in the meantime, the economy and money really is what's being used against us, and that's not a laughing matter at all, because they're going to attack us economically, no doubt. That is where a lot of the tyranny is. So that is our state right now. Let us continue. I'll have episode 20 next week. It's a milestone, episode 20 already of This Week in Tyranny. So thank you very much for viewing the video. I'll see you next week. Thanks.
You either vote for the mumps or the measles. Whether you vote for the lesser of two evils, you vote for evil. Politics and God are not equal, but the education to get on God is really lethal. People have more respect for a holy book than they do for a cow on a meat